3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so if we look at the
There's a
Department of
helicopter.
Corrections.
Is that a helicopter?
Yeah, it's a spy helicopter. Anyway, the Department of Corrections, if we look at the profit that they make, which is $1 trillion US per annum, and I always carry on about that because it's the most disgusting thing that I've ever encountered. $1 trillion US. That's, I know, I talk about it. It's 2 million piles of $1 million New Zealand, just spread out in the paddock. But think about it this way. If you were to take that profit for 1 year, if you were to take Corrections Department profit for 1 year and you were to distribute it amongst the 4 million people of this country, what you'd find is you'd end up with about $500,000 each, right? You could solve all of the problems, all of the poverty, all of the avarice, all of the greed, all of the jealousy in one swoop by distributing that money for 1 year across the population. That would pretty much change everybody's lives by 1 trillion%. Hey, no, why don't we do that? Oh, because they actually want it this way. They want it this way. It's a plan, okay? There is enough money. They can just print it. There's enough money to have it so that not one man, woman, or child in this country would ever have to worry about anything ever again. No one would have to work. No one would have to do anything. But the thing is that's not the way that they want the society to run, is it? That sounds like Gene Roddenberry's Star Trek, mate, where everybody just does it for the good of humanity and building the future for generations to come. No, we can't have that. No, we've got to have this fight, greed, stab each other in the back kind of world where everybody's struggling and fighting for their little piece of the pie.
Plus, also they when we found out Corrections was making $1 trillion per year profit, and that was American, that works out to 2 trillion
New Zealand,
which is what, 2 trillion piles? No, 2 million piles of
$1 million.
Yeah. Okay, so
that's $500,000 for every man, woman, and child in this country.
So everyone we encounter who goes to court, and every time we go to court, is guilty. Every time. It's just a money-making mechanism that you never see anyone get off unless they're with us, basically.
Very rarely people get off.
It's just pay your money next, pay your money next.
And it's a private transaction. People think it's a public court, but it's a private guild.
Yeah.
That's why it's called guilty.
And also the way that
guilty is guild money for what's booty for guilds.
So the way that the New Zealand government is structured, the executive branch of the government is at the top, and then judicial is below that.
Yeah.
So everything has to come under commerce. So it's all about commerce.
Yeah, there's no solution. Normally what would happen is you'd have the three branches, the executive, legislative, and judicial branches being at the same level, so that if the executive branch passed off some recommendation to the legislative branch who created a law for the judicial branch and it was bad, the judge would have the decision to be able to veto that and send it back so that it could be corrected.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was wrong. But in New Zealand, with the top-down structure, the executive office issues a recommendation, the legislative office creates a law, the judicial office has no room for correction. They have to follow it, and they're bound from there down.
But here's the other thing. We are never bound to stick to an organisation. And so technically the New Zealand government is an organisation.
It's a corporation. You
can never force...
Declaration of Human Rights, and you can see you can't be forced to belong to an organisation or out of it for, it's part of, it's the same as how
there's always a choice.
Force us into the medical thing.
Yeah.
Enshrined in every law since the beginning of time is protection for the individual to not be forced into medical treatment, because that means a group of people around you can force you into medical treatment to get rid of you.
And just like they used to do that with what Labotomies and
all that sort of stuff.
The forced electrical treatment on people. Shock treatment, yeah.
It's the same thing. And so, like, what we find is it's just like that. They're forcing us into situations that we don't have to be into.
Yeah, so just remember, everyone, when you are encountering an issue with a New Zealand government agent or a medical agent or a school agent or anyone who's forcing you to do anything, you can very diplomatically just
decline.
Yeah, decline, verbalize your rights and leave. Or if they're coming to you, tell them to leave. Verbalize your rights, tell them to leave. Because there's some serious issues with this country and the way that it is run.
Serious.
Yeah. Like $1 trillion, come on, per annum. That's how much corrections is making. And they make you feel bad about it.
yeah, you're the criminal.
Yeah.
Don't forget, you're the criminal.
I doubt it.
Making them trillions of dollars.
Yeah.